ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new series of Crusader Kings II, which may come to you as a bit of a surprise, but I do not intend that this will be a long series. No. It's going to be a bit of a mini-series, which in fact, all 5 or so episodes, or whatever defines a mini-series, will be posted in this very day that we're on, March 20th, first day of spring, Nowruz, in Iranian cultures and others that celebrate this particular one. So this is part of this other Overhaul mod, which is called When the World Stopped Making Sense. Although I chose a custom start date that I've set, which is on January 1st, 490. The earliest one that you could start is back in February 2nd, 476. Which is, the time where the Western Roman Empire is about to fall due to barbarian hordes and all that. And obviously this is the time of the Eastern Roman Empire that came to being. While the Italy is there, then there's Ostrogothica, Visigothica, Frankish Kingdom, yeah, this is around those times. And of course there's the Sassanid Empire over in Iran Shah. The Hethalites Empire, and over in India in the north, the Gupta Empire. So this is in that time period. But I'm not playing as any of these big nations. Instead, and I'm sure some of you think that you never thought I would return to being a Sogdian again. Just one of my favorite cultures in the world to play as in some scenarios. As you may recall last year that I did the Sogdian Saga, which was the last Crusader Kings II series that I've ever done. At least in that version. And of course there's this ongoing CK2 HIP Prussia series, which will continue on. But this is a little side project that I've also wanted to do for some time. And the timing of, with the first day of spring and Nowruz, and I thought, okay, you know what, we should do this little series that's in this Overhaul mod. And before I tell you, who are we exactly? What Sogdian nation are we of? Before I tell you that, pay attention. These are the mods that I'm using, and what you can also look at the description of the video. The mods that I'm using are Artifact Acquisition and Overhaul, the better looking garments for When the World Stopped Making Sense, which it also requires either better looking garbs, I should say, and better looking garbs full. But I just put both of them in specifically for the sake of it. Cultural Cities Remix, Dark Ages version 1.2.41, which is what I'm also using in the Prussia series, which is what's supposed to make it more realistic and difficult. Patron Deities, Soulmates, The Great Trade League, Viet Events Reborn, flavor events, which by the way, Viet stands for Various Immersive Events and Tales. Even though in the When the World Stopped Making Sense, it also comes with it. And of course, When the World Stopped Making Sense mod. And finally, Spouse Empowerment, which again, you can look at all up in the description of the video after I just told you that out loud, in case you didn't get the memo the first time. Okay, so to be exact, let's go to the home province. Inside the Hethalites Empire, which is ruled by the Raja, which is basically King of Kings, led by this strong man, who is a defender. But he has a lot of... He's a suzerain of many tributaries, but they're not tributary states. No, just paying tribute. And whenever that ruler dies, everybody will get their independence. So, to be exact, I am Ekshid Varkhuman of Samarkand. So, this is the time in the late 400s and all the way until the Muslim conquest of Transoxiana. Um, this was during the period the Sogdians in their heyday. Because if you recall last year in my Sogdian saga, this was during the period when the Sogdians were occupied by the Abbasid Empire, as well as their tributary states of these Emirates. But now, this series takes place, obviously more than 300 years before, the events of the Sogdian saga in my series, with Roxana of Bukhara being the main protagonist early in that series. So now, long before that, we go back to the days, the Sogdians in their prime. At least so to be. So this was the period of the Sogdian City-States. So as you can see, this is Samarkand, which is a Petty Xanate of Samarkand. So, Xanate, which I think, well, again, Xanate means kingdom. Petty Xanate is like petty kingdom, so that's what it means. And Ekshid is a Sogdian word for it, which is their alternative name for the Iranian culture's name of a duke, which is satrap. So the Sogdians use Ekshid. So besides Samarkand, again, one of the Sogdian city-states, there's also Bukhara, Arushana, and Kuta. And even Fergana, even though it's led by the Sakan, but sometimes call them Shaka because Sanskrit pronunciation when they encountered them when they came down to India. And there's Chach up there. What do you got there? Oh, tongue of an unbeliever. Never mind. Also, don't mind this thing because whoever's running Bukhara, they just have this cloak. Even though this was long before the rise of Islam, but it's just there. Because I used that artifact acquisition overhaul mod. It's just one of those things. And I know some of you are wondering, so why are you not going to do a long series on the Sogdians? It's just basically I just want to show off because it's just a potential idea in case you people might be intrigued for you doing possible playthroughs yourselves. If you still play Crusader Kings to this day, and then you find the Wonderworld Stop Making Sense mod, even though it's kind of rather dated, but still, with these mods that I've added in addition, it just makes the playthrough more interesting. At least from a Sogdian perspective, because unlike the last series with the Sogdians, this one, they actually have their own flavor events and decisions. So that's why I wanted to do this little thing, because, although when I looked it up on YouTube, like a Domain Nachu Tibet area, again, this was the old map. This was long before Jade Dragon, when they added Tibet, and long before Holy Fury, when they expanded more of Africa. So this was the old map. Especially when you look at the Balkans, one of the places I'm used to playing a lot. Bosnia, for example, even though this is long before it was called Bosnia, but rather it's an antiquated name, where in the last version, they just have 4 counties in the Duchy of Bosnia, for example. But now that's just the old 2, for example. Now on YouTube, for people who have done the Wonderworld Stop Making Sense mod, most of them just play either as the Western Roman Empire to try to survive or whatever, or the Eastern, or some of the other areas, travels and migrate and whatnot. And I'm kind of rather surprised nobody has ever done either the Sassanid or Gupta, the other noted empires of the East. And of course, me being a aficionado on Zoroastrian and Iranian cultures in these areas, and so I thought, well, maybe we should do the Sogdians before I found out, hey, they actually got their own events, something you do not typically see. And before we get down to it, let's put together this council and choose a lifestyle, trade, education, all that. before we get down further to know what's our major goal of this short-term series, which obviously it would be to form Sogdiana. Which, to be exact, it's Trans-Soxiana. But when a Sogdian controls most of these lands, if not all, it would be referred to as Sogdiana. Okay, took a drink. Now, what we know of Varkhuman. He is a brilliant strategist, good start at random, but he's also brave, so yeah, he's a warrior type. But he's greedy, and he's humble and deceitful, so half and half as far as morality is concerned. But he's a military man at heart. And when I mentioned about using the better looking Garbs, and as well as better looking Garbs for the When the World Stop Making Sense mod, this is the reason why that graphic of this portrait here looks quite different than your typical one that you would see in either HIP or the past series I've done when I use certain mods. And most importantly, blonde hair. Yes, there are blonde Iranian peoples out there. Sogdians were one of them, although most of them were dark-haired, but there are some blondes too. Even the modern descendants of the Sogdians still living today, the Yagnobi, that there are photographs of these people, and especially their children, where they sport blonde hair. And again, my father Vistas, not a blonde. But he was a military man too, so it must be run in the family. And my son is a blonde. And there's my half-brother. And also he's rather cheerful, humble like me, diligent but arbitrary. And then there's my half-sister, which I guess it looks like dark hair, but the headdress is rather covering it. And that one's more sinful, and she's dour. Half-brother, half-sister. Too bad we'll never know who his previous spouse was from a second or third marriage. We're all in our 30s. As we know, he's 39 years old, so better make most of this life. Now, our council, they're all decent. But fortunately, they're all mayors and varus, to be exact. Also, mind you, the the cultures, cultural graphics. The capital of the county is Afrasiab. Samarkand is a separate city. And there's the Atash Irdadga, fire temple, if you will. Right. And besides the Sogdian culture is what we are. It's part of the East Iranian culture. And this is our religion, Khurmazta, which is a Zoroastrian heresy. Khurmazta, or Zavana, is a Sanskritic form of Zoroastrianism which was practiced among the Sogdians. It mixes Zoroastrianism with Hinduism, Buddhism, and various pagan faiths. Aside from Khurmazta, lesser deities such as Weshpakar, god of wind, are worshipped and made offerings using the form of small statues. The high god is Zavana. The other gods' names include Khurmazta, Weshpakar, Vishagun, and Nanaya. And evil god names are Ahriman and Anguramainu, and the scripture is the Gathas. So basically, it's the Sogdian version of Zoroastrianism while incorporating, elements of Hindu, Buddhist, and the old pagan of an old Indo-Iranian religion, which is still around, actually, in this time period, as we look at the religion map. So Khurmazta is widespread in the Sogdian populations, except for Bukhara, which they inherited Manichaeanism. It's this one. That's Scythian paganism. So yeah, that's not just Zoroastrianism, but there's all kinds of old faiths, antiquated faiths, in early forms of Christianity as well. Whereas over in India, it's just not only Hindu, Jain, Buddhist, also Ajivika, Charaka, Vinasa, Dravidian paganism, Brahmanic. Yeah, they have all kinds of different faiths down there. I don't know. I don't know why I just said I don't know. I'm just, a bit... Whew. It's a lot out there, right? That's why I wanted to do a mini-series on the Sogdians first, just to give you people an idea. If you're intrigued, if you ever want me to do a full-term series, far in the future. But as one of those big empires, either Sassanid or Gupta, because most people often play out in the West, whereas I'm more Eastern-oriented to me as far as past playthroughs is concerned. So now, we know our members of the council. Should probably train troops to increase the levy size, because if I wish to expand, you would most likely declare war for ducal conquest. But to have a ducal conquest, you're going to need piety. But I don't think it's that too hard for it. Now we need a cartographer, part of the Great Trade League mod. I'll just give it to my half-sister. Fortunately, there is a local resource. Shepherd Community. Next door in Kutal, wheat field, but nothing else further up except for flax field up in Balasagun. So, here's the deal. Since there's a shepherd community here, which Sogdia at that time, especially if you remember the last series in the Sogdian saga, the most common resource we often get around here is shepherd community, which makes you think that Sogdia is sheep country, rather than a country of silk. I mean, we trade silk. We don't, grow a silkworm farm. No. We trade. Because the Sogdians are famous middlemen merchants of the Silk Road. Further down you go, more shepherd community. It's only far down as Honor is the nearest gold mine, unfortunately. Bastra, that's also nearest gold mine. So yeah, not a lot of resources, just mostly in Europe. I don't know about you, but hopefully you're someone more competent. Again, no such thing as powerful vassals, so you can change to whoever you want. Probably need you, since you're the most effective commander. But well, actually it's the same. Damn. And inviting people costs money, since you're using that Dark Ages mod. In addition with this. You'll be fine. Who's the designated ranger going to be? I would obviously just give him to somebody with more military skill. And fortunately, my half-sister can also be a physician, so I don't have to spend my money to get a new court physician. Okay, here it is. You see this event? Proclaim Sogdiana, despite the fact that it's incomplete. Which, again, the When Our World Stopped Making Sense mod was, it was in beta, and I believe it still is. And knowing that Crusader Kings III has been out for a couple of months now, and I thought they're probably not going to bother working more of this. The last time they updated this game in actuality, this mod, I should say, was back in last April. So, go figure. Last April. And here I am, March 2021, on this very day of Nowruz, which we'll celebrate it in a moment. Yes, there is a separate Celebrate Nowruz event, which you gotta wait till April. But anyways, so that's the goal of this series. Proclaim Sogdiana. So you gotta control 2 baronies. Two duchies, I should say. Sogdiana and Varkhuman. Don't mind Dihistan because it's not there. It's just there for some reason. And plus, you gotta have piety and prestige. And I'm an independent ruler, as long as you are not the king nor the emperor. But now it's time to choose the patron angel, a personal patron from the Amesha of the Zoroastrian faith, or Khurmazta in particular. Should dedicate myself to a particular angel and let their power inform my rule. Take your pick before you put your focus, which obviously it's going to be war first, since I'm planning on expanding. So that'll be up to 15. Thinking about stewardship somewhere. Gee, I don't know about that. As much as I would like to get it, but that could wait. You know what? I should go for Ashavahistra Truth. For more piety, because you need piety in order to start ducal conquest wars, so go for that. It'll lower my martial a bit, for starters. And of course, when this September comes around, go for the Jushin Festival, which I know it's going to cost us money, but don't worry, I know where I can get my money. You can also make large sacrifice to Nidra, Parendi, and Chisti. And you can undergo a cleansing ritual, which is just for additional piety for a year. No need for that right now. And since we're Sogdians, you're allowed to hold a Sogdian Fair. Yes, a Sogdian Fair. Which there's 4 kinds of it. And if there's ever a large amount of open time and money, we will go for such fair. And I can go survey the realm, which I don't have time for that. We can increase stability of the province, which, you know, that Bakara is normal, but here it's average or normal. Kotal is a rebellious province, so prone to rebellions. Let me get that off. Normal here, normal there. Restless. Okay, got it all figured out. Keep going. This is all, you know, Dark Ages related. Some of the other parts of the mod. Oh, I forgot. You know, since you are Khurmazta, you could choose a personal patron among the lesser deities of the Zoroastrian faith. So this is what I mean by Sogdian Zoroastrian. So I guess I'll have 2 deities then that I'll be patron of. I should dedicate myself to a particular deity so that I may rule more effectively. Desi would bless the realm with wealth, while Parn would bring me good fortune. Nanaya, goddess of fertility, would ensure my dynasty never ends. Well, I did want more stewardship, so that one I could pick, but take a look at the others first. Ooh, well, there's others. Choosing any of these as a personal deity would be a testament to my piety. Weshpakar, god of wind, both creates and destroys. Weshagun, god of victory, would guide my armies in battle. And Zervan, the eternal god of time, would offer me divine wisdom. For health, more martial, but it's gonna hurt my learning a bit. Zervan, well, remember, since I'm using the Dark Ages mod, if you go below 5 on any of your skills, you're gonna have penalties. Just for being low skilled. If, for those of you that's seen the Prussia series previously of mine, that's just still ongoing. I don't know, I really want to go for stewardship. Because there's this society, Great Trade League. Because I want to enter it because I just need another, you know, alternate source of money making. I mean, come on, you're a Sogdian. Mercantile, being both a warrior and a merchant. I mean, yeah. So, you know, go for Desi, the bountiful one, which also reduces build cost. Sure, my martial will be, you know, lowered twice, despite the fact that I chose a war focus, but over time I may get an increase in martial skills. Now, choose your own ambition. Well, starting first with get married, for small piety gain. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of choices here. Interesting, there's only one diplomacy and 3 of them in intrigue. And yet, if you wish to have more children, you gotta marry somebody of a younger age, so it would be her. Which is gonna hurt my prestige, which, don't I need prestige for something? Let me see. Oh yes, digestion. Holding a Sogdian Fair only costs money. And same for celebrating Nowruz this coming spring. And you can hold feasts as well, just for more prestige. And if need be, you can always donate to charity for additional piety if you have a lot of money to spend. So it has to be somebody, you know, that's of royalty. And again, since you're a Mazdan, you're allowed to have marriage alliances. Well, no. You can allow to marry somebody who's a Buddhist and a Nestorian Christian. So, I guess it'll be you then. I only get 1 prestige out of this marriage. And a non-aggression pact with Chach further up north. Potential ally in the future. If I have the diplomacy skills, which I do not, because I'm a greedy, deceitful man. Which means if I try to negotiate based on my skills, and his skills, as well as everything else in between, because I did not get a good look at this man, well, that's going to be a problem. Timid, curious. Go for duty. And since you're my only child, I'll raise you as a guardian. And of course I do. Wait a minute. Sorry about that. Just a little misunderstanding. Set the crown focus here on Samarkand. All set. It's been 30 minutes, so let's go. Two things, people. I actually just stopped recording it prematurely after I realized something. Having that Viet Advance Reborn mod along with the When the World Stopped Making Sense mod, you should not have the Viet on. Because, you know, here's the reason why, and I just got back on here. See, the description is showing instead of what it was earlier. At least you get that at the most. So now you get an idea, especially when I hold events like Nowruz and Sogdian Fair and all that. And I'm sure all the other events in other countries that you play in the game. To get more descriptive. Because in this, it comes with it. In fact, let me show you real quick. Game moves. Scroll all the way down to here. Somewhere. Vietnam. There. It comes with the mod of When the World Stopped Making Sense. You don't need a separate mod of that. And two, actually, I'm changing my mind. Because Kashgar is a larger country than only because of manpower reasons. Instead of this one, go for that one instead. Especially when we get Fergana and then later up to Polska, which fighting against these guys is going to be quite an effort. Yo, not yo. Let's try that again. It's me, and it's your daughter, or whatever. Your sister, okay. And this one actually gets me more prestige. I mean, married to, you know... I mean, I'm a Petty Xanate, you're a kingdom. And that actually gives us more prestige. Yes. But that puts us in non-aggression. But we do not have an alliance yet. Again, that's part of the Dark Ages mod that I'm also using. Just to make things more realistic and difficult. So, let's get on. Get on. Let's speed it up a bit. Yeah, middle name is a bit messy. Unless that's something in the second language. Oh, just get more money. You got the prestige. Now, just married. Now I'd like to increase the domain, which would actually give me one stewardship and have high enough stewardship so I can go join the Great Trade League. What I need to do is to expand either into Kotal, or Bakara, or Orushana. But all it needs is an increase of the size of the domain's troops. It's the Sedra Pushi ritual. Today my child partakes in the Sedra Pushi initiation ceremony. He will don a shirt, the Sudri, and a girdle, the Kushti, and a covering for the head and beginning a new life as a member of the Zoroastrian flock. I could use the opportunity to teach him something about my faith. Well, son, I'll talk to him about the Khurmazta, divine power. I did that earlier, but I forgot to put that back in. When I had to save it, put up. Remember, it's April. April is the month where you get to hold Nowruz. Here it comes. Boom. Okay. Now I can celebrate Nowruz. The New Year is upon us. Let us celebrate in the traditional Iranian fashion. Spent 11 gold for this. The New Year shall soon be upon us. Shall soon be upon us in the world of Iran, from the snow-capped Pamir Mountains to the fertile plains of Mesopotamia. Shall soon be celebrating this holiday, which has been observed since ancient times. This year you intend to make Nowruz a spectacle to be remembered for years. Let us make preparations. I will begin first by cleaning out my entire residence. I have a good feeling about the upcoming year. This is why I decided to post the videos of this Sogdian mini-series of When the World Stopped Making Sense as part of Crusader Kings II on this very day of the first day of spring, also known as Nowruz in the Iranian calendar. Nowruz has officially begun. I wake up in the morning full of energy and excitement before I do anything of importance. However, I first taste honey thrice and light 3 candles before speaking to anyone to ensure good luck and ward off disease. Now that's taken care of. Time to prepare for the court ceremony. The first day of Nowruz. I welcome Nowruz in a lavishly decorated hall. My servants have placed silver and gold plates and vases, filled to the brim with fruits and colorful flowers, all throughout, and it looks beautiful. As custom has it, I am first greeted by a court astronomer. He kisses the ground and congratulates me on the new year, and wishes me good fortune and prosperity for the coming year. Good. Now let the musicians and singers come in. We are celebrating Nowruz now, and my court will enjoy the entertainment, certainly. Song and music of Nowruz. All is festive and joyful as the musicians and singers come in, and my courtiers sit at the assigned locations. As the highest ranking member of the court, I have the right to choose whichever song I want the musicians and singers to perform first. There are many songs traditionally performed during Nowruz, and only Nowruz, after all. Perhaps I'd like to hear the grand Nowruz-e-Bozorg, or the softer, more exotic Nowruz-e-Rahawi, or maybe the uplifting spiritual Bade-e-Nowruzi, and again there's also the sweet and lovely Tak-e-Peruzi. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I am not Iranian in real life, not by blood or descent. No, I just have a very fascination of Iranian cultures, be it Persian, Kurdish, Sogdian, Afghan to the lesser extent, Bactrian, any of that, both old and current, based on cultural. Because, in real life, back in those times, and still to this day, Iranians are known to be a very hospitable people. They're nice. When you look at an average citizen of one's country, be it from Iran to up to Tajikistan, which is one of the formerly Sogdian countries. Anyways, we need the piety to, start ducal conquest wars, so I wish to hear the soft sounds of Nowruz-e-Wahabi. The most popular day of Nowruz is the so-called water pouring day. It is for the day of happiness and friendship amongst all. May my household sprinkle rose water on relatives and guests, and even sprinkle on those who pass by my residence. Everyone and everything smells so pleasant. Oh, nice. I never knew that part. Again, I only know the day Nowruz. That just means it's like, yes, it's the first day of spring of the year. But, and I recall, but that's a Zoroastrian tradition. Roughly a week or so after Nowruz is Zoroaster's birthday. Yes, the founder, the prophet of Zoroastrianism. Even though we're Khurmazta, which is basically a Sogdian Zoroastrian version. Water pouring day, I never knew that. This year's Nowruz has been nothing short of exciting and fun, but alas, all good things must come to an end. The world begins to calm and settle down, return to my normal routine. May this year be a good one, so you gain additional prestige. And we have celebrated Nowruz indeed, but we won't be able to hold it again until 2 years' time or so. Remember, if I wish to form an alliance, I mean, not only it's going to cost you in gold, but I am not confident about my diplomacy skill. If I was more honest, sure. But I have no intrigue skill. In base, is what I mean. But I'm more focused towards warfare. You can have a forced vassalization against Varkhuman, which we're close enough to have that prestige, you know? Maybe you should do that. Attack Varkhuman first, rather than Kotel for ducal conquest. You know, with having them on our side, we would not only ensure protection from Chuban, who would probably threaten little Varkhuman. Or judge. Let me see. The volatile province, so they're not going to have as much strength while we will continue to build up with ours. So give it time. And don't hold the Sogdian Fair. It not only costs money to set up, but it costs additional money when choosing the fair. But soon, you will find out later in this episode what the day-to-day life of the Sogdians are like, besides the Nowruz, which is for all Iranian cultures. Just wait till September for the Sogdian City-States festival. It's a Zoroastrian tradition. Offense or defense? That is the question. Since we're a weak city-state, at least for now, I would go for unyielding. A solid rock breaks the best steel. My men will be that rock. Because when it comes to defensive battles, well, defense is the best offense, some would think. And who's some that would be? And I know you don't like me, because you're an enemy, you're honest, so maybe we could get along. In fact, I'm gonna make you the Minister of Magazines, the Aran Abed. Just up the opinion a bit. Maybe we could get along here. Maybe, just maybe. Just wait till September, which will hold the Sogdian. I mean, Khurmazta now, but Manichaean is a separate thing here. They don't always follow the same rituals as we do, which is almost considered a separate faith. Now, it's time to hold the Sogdian City-States festival. According to legend, Persian king Husang discovered the secret of fire in the hollow pass and vowed to benefit all people. We Mazdas celebrate this with the Sogdian City-States festival. It is held to honor fire, to defeat the forces of darkness, frost, and cold. Send out the invitations. We will go to war once we finish that festival. But unfortunately, I have an alliance with Kotel, which is... how do they pull that off? Oh, it's not a marriage alliance, it's a negotiable alliance. You can't break that. And they're friends, too. So it was a matter of friendship between the two. Well, anyways. A festive mood is in the air. Bonfires are being built near the temples and lakes. Fathers are taking their sons to gather wood for the pyres, while women prepare food for the festival. Whoever does not give a branch, may God not grant their wish. Soon the fires are lit. As part of the Jushin Sadet festival, the Movads bless their communities with the Atesh Nerish, the Lantity of Fire. As a sovereign, I'm expected to attend the ceremony in my capital. This blessing shall aid me in battle. I'll choose that over this because I'm a military man at heart. I'm a brilliant strategist. So this will up the morale in armies. We gotta get down to negotiations. In fact, I'm not sure about you, but we're replacing Chancellor Senate to the shore. See if we can get Kashgar together. A group of priests carry the sacred fire to the throne room. My vassals follow them and are directed to their seats by servants. Let us celebrate the glory of our Maz. And also, I should sway you too. A higher opinion means there's a slightly better chance of forming an alliance. You may never know. He's a military man like I am. And already, within the first year of this timeline. But he's been ruling for a while now. What year was he born? So he's been ruling since he was 15 years old. Yes, since he was 15. And he's been ruling for a good while. And now they call him the Fearless. Don't let it mind you say that it's an anarchy. And plus, the Sogdian City-States, they use the elective system. Elective form, elective monarchy. Which is true to life. As we are tolerant here. You can be indifferent, or you can become intolerant. And the status of women, they actually start with notable. So they're not full equals, like between the differences in society between the Sogdian men and women on positions of power. So women can be, they can be spy masters, they can be stewards and chancellors, and they can be marshals. But they do not have the ability to become commanders, or allowed to have absolute cognate. Go for a revoke title. You may never know if someone committed a crime, and we revoke the title. Particularly you. If something bad were to happen to you, but unfortunately you're my spy master, so no, you are needed. Whenever he dies, I should say, without having children, Panjakent goes to me, and I get more troops. That'll be good to have. Celebrations are finally over. I have feasted on a bountiful food while outside the bonfires are burnt out. Having successfully driven away the demons of frost and cold, soon a light of summer shall be upon us. Till next time, we got enough prestige to start a forced vassalization war. But unfortunately, Kutal's on their side, and asking them for vassalization, if they were well liked, wouldn't do any good. That's why I needed to negotiate an alliance with them. We can use their troops to take Fergana. I mean, I should start a war against Kutal instead, while Fergana intervenes and Kashgar would come in, and they can occupy it and weaken them. So that way after that, then I'll fight them in a forced vassalization war. Yeah, there you go. good plan. Fortunately, we may have to look for alternatives. Like you. I hope you don't mind the age difference. Past childbearing age. Oh yeah, by then. Yeah. This one's in alliance with Bakara. Unfortunately. Well, not alliance, but not aggression. But they could turn into alliance if they like each other more. But please remember, we are tributary, which tributary provides 50% income to the suzerain. Tributary relations when the suzerain dies. It breaks down when the suzerain dies. The tributary can call the suzerain to wars, and the suzerain can call tributary to wars. Tributary cannot refuse calls of defensive wars. Tributary can fight other tributaries, and the suzerain can intervene in tributary infighting. Is that so? Yeah, it is that so. Maybe we can ask the Taplight Overlord to help us out, even though the man is zealous. He is zealous to the Taplight faith, which is a syncretic religious sect based on the fusion of Zoroastrian and Hindu traditions with native beliefs. Less a true religion rather than an amalgam of an accepted many, that Taplight religion in the game, represents a unique combination of Zoroastrian, Tibetan, and Hindu practices all under the auspices of the Raja himself, which is the King of Kings. He'll have children of his own in no time. I mean, I would hate it for him to take over. And then the Sogdian City-States will be independent, and we would be vulnerable to these Chuban nomads. They're currently at war with them. That's what I'm worried about, them getting strength. That's why I need for Ghana and take Balsalagun as soon as possible, before they get stronger. And subsequently, get Bukhara and Kutta. I just don't have the negotiating skills compared to you, as I am more of a deceitful one. And I don't have good intrigue either. I'm just not a nice guy. But please remember, get more piety. I was about to say, why do you have your troops raised? Oh, you are being raided. Alright. I have some additional money. It was supposed to be a normal ritual, standing by the fire with the priest while we're praying faithfully to Nanaya. When I coughed, I saw filthy spit fly into the holy fire. Oh my goodness! No one noticed. Thankfully, I feel great unease. I, a true Zoroastrian, defiled the purest of things. Fire! Oh dear. Trust me, I studied a lot of Zoroastrianism in real life. You are not supposed to do that, ever. Don't you know? But they say didn't notice. I gotta be honest here, because, you know, not the lowest marine chick, but I kind of need that diplomacy skill, you know, to help with the negotiations. If you want to follow Asha, truth, you got to be honest. So I should warn everyone that the fire is contaminated with death. So I will lose a bit of prestige and gain a bit of piety, which is needed for that ducal conquest. Finally, that image you see here, this is why the priests, these Zoroastrian priests, use these face coverings. It's to prevent saliva from contaminating the fire. Similar to how the Jains over in India, the one who are, that they practice ahimsa, non-violence, which is the foremost of all. That particularly due of the white-clad sect of Jainism, the Shvetambara, they wear face coverings too, which is a lot similar to all the masks that you see today around the world during this current era we're living in. The original purpose of these masks was to prevent saliva from dropping into their scriptures, or in this case for the Zoroastrians, the fire there. And on that part of the Jains, to prevent accidentally swallowing an insect. Anyways, I gotta be honest here. Didn't get honesty, as I'm still deceitful. Maybe perhaps I am not a true Zoroastrian. Also, mind you, it's Khurmazta. It's a syncretic form of Zoroastrianism, Sogdian Zoroastrianism, that's also known as unofficially in scholarly studies. I'm starting to think Faruzan might fancy me. Oh, really? Wait, I kinda don't want to make my wife mad. I'll just take the hit and say it's not appropriate. Stop thinking about such things. A young talented artist from Samarkand proposes to paint an iconic portrait of Ekshid Vishtasp, who we hardly knew yet, but he was a military man, and I'm sure he did great for the city-state. And it's for more prestige. But I don't want to disrespect the dynasty, which is very small, by the way. Oh yeah, especially my half-brother. He would be mad as heck, as he's a title claimant. And he's a childish fool. So I'll just say that this will be grand in the main hall. Yes, think of my father, who had a interesting choice of facial hair. But he's not like us blondes, so maybe our unknown mother was blonde. That's how he got it from. Anyways, perhaps I should use my extensive military knowledge to impress King Kostas into liking me more. We're both strategists, so let's talk strategy here. King Kostas' response to my letter was cold and hastily written. Whether he's uninterested in military matters, he doubts the value of my suggestion. It's clear he's not impressed by my letter. How could he not be impressed? Restless and rebellious. There could be a revolt soon, and that'll be very bad. I wonder if Kostas would appreciate learning more about the benefits of hard work for me. I cannot think of anything else right now that would help him like me more. I'll tell her my prosperous realm, using my diplomacy, which I have very little to begin with. I only gained some because I celebrated the rules. But he's been very impressed by the tales I've spread about my realm's prosperity. That's a start. Okay, I'm impatient. Let's form an alliance. Again, this is part of the Dark Ages mod. It all depends on their opinion of me, my diplomacy. I'm not gregarious, I'm not a socializer, unfortunately. Days arrived at a diplomatic meeting with Kostas of Kashgar and his entourage. After the necessary pleasantries, we sit down and start the summit. My spies were unable to form me on a particular weakness on the diplomatic group of Kostas. Of course. Well, he's rough, but he's honest and brave. And I'm a military man, so I should go for this. Which, again, my diplomacy stat is low, but I have martial education, high martial stat, somewhat high. Not a socialized, not gregarious. I am brave, but I'm don't have the strategist trait. And, depends on the opinion. Then we're both brave, and, I recall Kostas is Ruffle too, yes. distance between the realms, which is not that far in my opinion. And differences here, I mean, he's king, I'm a Petty Xanate. I'm an Ekshid. So, short distance is a positive one, but long distances are negative. If the characters are higher tiered, there's a bonus. While the contrary grants penalty. Finally, the bigger number of lines, the more complex of interest we might have, thus creating another penalty success action. I have a chance of getting a moderate success bonus thanks to the work of my spies. It is influenced by the realm. Espionage stat. Pay attention to event description to check in what the most spies. But it says unable to inform a particular weakness. Well, let's just showcase our military prowess and might. Or lack thereof. We're getting there. He'll probably say no. Any day now. We're still in negotiations. It's kind of hard to get from one message from Samarkand to Shul already over there. Diplomatic negotiations went very well, and soon became apparent a good deal could be made. I left the meeting in good spirits, looking forward to future collaborations with King Khurmazta. The deal is sealed. So, this alliance will last for 5 years. Thank you. Who says that Buddhists and Zoroastrians can't get along? Or should I say Mazdans, if you want to use a general term. We can have a forced vassalization war right now, use that prestige. But Kashgar will help us out. Well, maybe I should take care of them, while we let them do all the work, because they have a bigger army than we do. And their combined forces would kill both of us. And if you want to, you could get money from Jewish merchants and use the funds to get a low-level mercenary. The cheapest mercenaries you could find. Which would be, okay, not these ships. These guys. The Ox. Yeah. I've heard these guys with Trevant recently formed their mercenary band, and I wouldn't mind using them too. They've expanded a bit of territory. But do not underestimate them, they are a powerful entity. Which I could use Kashgar and the Heteflites' help in taking them on to get this. I'm surprised these negotiations went well. I feel relieved, but don't start that war yet. The domain size is not at the max, where we could just use that land to its fullest potential. One more month should do. Actually, that'll do because that's pretty much it. Well, I hope you're ready, because... Or... Why haven't you done that? You could raise more troops. Small delays is gonna hurt. Non-aggressor pact with Varkhuman? I respectfully disagree. Even if we go to war with Kutal, and then they would join in, no matter what. And they have a marriage alliance now with Church. Yeah, get them first, then Kotal. Beware of Church. So I respectfully disagree. Made my intentions known. Oh, so how much troops can we raise more? And faster. I mean, up to 1,000 would be ideal. Get up on their level. I wonder how much money if we're ever going to get from the shepherd community. Oh, we got it just now. While we still wait for war, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to show you one of those things that the Sogdians do. Back in their heyday, we're going to hold our very first Sogdian Fair, which it doesn't have a description, but we have the money to do this, and maybe buy something off the fair. Fair in Samarkand. This year we shall host a great fair and market in Samarkand, an opportunity for us to encourage trade and commerce in our realm while we can hold a standard fair. There are other fairs traditional among the Sogdian peoples as well. The Fair of Monks, for instance, where idols are sold and merchants of different religions exchange in an atmosphere of tolerance. Conversely, at the Tirma Fair, defective goods can be sold in the name of good fun, of course. And there's the Ekshid Fair, where stolen or counterfeit things are sold. Obviously, the stolen goods are part of the fun tradition, rather than actual theft, usually. Now, let us send word to the Sogdian merchants and Sartapas, and to others along the Silk Road, that this year we will have a... Also, I had prior practice with this before I did the recording of the series. These 3 fairs down here, once you do them, you can't do them again. You can only do these again when the ruler passes. So, simply for the sake of it, for demonstration purposes of what it's like for a Sogdian Fair, let's just hold a normal Sogdian Fair. And by the way, that'll cost you additional 50 gold. And it's going to take 2 months for the Great Fair to be held. While we prepare for war, let's hold a fair. I mean, you've got to do something to pass the time. As I am the fearless one. The fair at Samarkand is officially underway. Merchants from all over the Silk Road come to peddle their wares, trade their goods, and exchange contacts and information. Even those who aren't merchants, be they commoners or nobles, can do some shopping, or enjoy some of the festivities. The silk must flow, so for a short period of time, revolt risk is lowered, and a huge increase in local tax modifier because of the commercial activity going on here during this normal Sogdian Fair. Wish they had that feature during that last playthrough. One merchant at this fair has a fine selection of spices from all across the world. India, China, Africa, Persia, and elsewhere. I see pepper, saffron, cumin, turmeric, cloves, and more. I must buy some of these so my cook can use them. I have 41 gold, so spend wisely. Let's see, which ones I would like. There's a 25% chance that I bought the exotic food, which would up the diplomacy and stewardship for 2 years. But there's a highly likely chance I'll just buy spices, which adds a bit more fertility and a bit more health. I just bought spices. The spice must flow. Slaves are often sold at these fairs. Girls from the region, known for their beauty, are popular amongst the discerning customers from places as far as China. Today I found a most lovely young lady, and she would surely make a good consort. Piety or money and prestige? And there's a lot of chances that you just pick up a woman of a certain name. I'll have a look at it at court in a moment. I'm in no rush to get more piety up. The gain is good. But then again, I'm a deceitful man, and Zoroastrians especially love deceitfulness. So, she'll serve me, of course. Let's see who she is, exactly. A Tokharian woman. Khurmazta os Again, Tokharian or Sogdian culture. Difference in spelling. And they're part of the Tarim culture group. In a regular game, they're part of the Iranian culture group. Yes, there's even Sogdians living in Khotan as well. Because, they've established themselves, you know, trade cities and whatnot. But their ruler is actually a Sakhan Buddhist. Where did you get that? Look at this! That is a must-have if you are a Mazdan, or an Iranian, or King of Persia, or the Shanshah of Iran Shah, also known as the Sassanid Empire. My. I must have that. But you could steal that artifact, but unfortunately I do not have the skills for this. And I don't trust my spy master for that role, because he would be seen as a screw-up. Oh, that female slave that you bought. Maybe if she had more deceit in her bones. But, well, I'm gonna take you in as my concubine. I bought you. So there you go. I mean, I would like to have a few more children. So now you got 2 Buddhist women. And she's lustful, but she could potentially cooperate. And since she's a Buddhist, it's possible that she could use her ambitions to get rid of Ralph and lustful. It happens. But remember, the fair continues. It ain't over yet. The best part of these fairs is obviously the food. Since people come from all across the Silk Road, there are a lot of different cuisines. There's local boiled meats and vegetables, as well as flatbreads, palak, and nutty, syrupy sweets, of course. But also more exotic dishes like Chinese noodles, Indian curries, and great baklava. I have plenty of time to try them all, so today I'll first try some... Not some fried fish, just a food rich in meat, just to increase the martial skill for about a year, since we're still preparing for a potential conflict. The Silk Road is like a glue that binds people in different faiths and cultures. At this fair I'm meeting Manichaeans, Christians, Muslims. Don't mind that part because it has come this time. It's just a generic text. Nature worshippers, Buddhists, Hindus from places as far away as Iran, China, Russia, Egypt, Greece. There are people from every corner of the world. Russians in Sogdia? Maybe the early Slavs. It's possible. They're in the timeline, the Slavic peoples. I would just engage in friendly religious discussion and debate. I don't think I'll get learning, but I'll get a nice bit of piety. I actually did pick up a bit of learning. How about that? Unfortunately, the fair in Samarkand has come to an end. Merchants are leaving for elsewhere on the Silk Road. It will be a while before the fair of this magnitude will be held again, but I am happy that I got the chance to participate in it. And spent a great deal of money on that. Jeez. Hope to host another one soon, which you can. If you got the money. See? You can hold another fair, but remember, not only it costs money, and it costs additional money to hold which type of fair. So that'll probably happen in the next episode if I ever have a large amount of money to spend. especially whenever I reach up the stewardship of 10. Once I increase the domain. But I'm more interested in vassalizing Varkhuman first, and then attack them. He lost the debate, granted privileges. Interesting. Where are we on the troop numbers? You're up to 1,000, but you're not quite there yet. Because you just picked up a marshal from eating some fried fish. Give it 3 months. By March, I will raise the army to force vassalization of Varkhuman. It has been a very nice experience bringing Dark Ages together over the years with a considerable amount of time involved. Recently, I decided to set up a PayPal donation page for the kind souls who want to buy me coffee for it. If you feel like that, just click on the donate link at the top of the description section in the Dark Ages Steam page, or press the donate button in the Dark Ages thread. Thank you for the free coffee. I don't want to be intrusive at all, so if you don't change characters and continue playing the same dynasty, this message will happen twice per game. The other message, 75 gamers from now, after you take your time playing Dark Ages some more, independently of your decision. It is a pleasure for me that you picked Dark Ages to play with. Thank you. That's the message from the guy who made the Dark Ages mod that I'm using along with all the others for this series. For this little mini-series. Just wanted to do this Sogdian one because of its nature events. While strolling outside one day, I stopped to relieve myself. As I finished, I noticed a bit of gleaming on the ground. Careful not to step on my urine, I moved towards the shiny object and realized that it is a few gold coins. What luck! Only picked up one. I guess a traveling Silk Road merchant must have dropped the coin. You may never know. You know Samarkand's one of the centers of trade of the world at that time? Yep. It's that time, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. You are first. I got lots of prestige, and I'm willing to spend it. And then once that's done, Kutal is next. Because we would have enough prestige by then. And hopefully Shola accepts our call. And get well soon, please, because we need you. Alright, let's do it. I'm willing to gamble for it. Though we can call that Teplight and Kashgar. But I'm gonna need you to save your strength when we fight the nomads. What we should do instead is let Kashgar, deal with Varkhuman's forces. Since you got a pretty good number against them. They call the Raja the victorious. Even though all he did is fought against nomadic raiders. And we know that he's going to intervene. So call him in. But don't call that Teplight in. Well, actually, you could call him in because when I saw those troops earlier, I thought they were going to be one of those entities where let's use event spawn troops. No, they're not. He'll be fine. He's a strong man. If he gets injured, he'll recover. He'll be alright. So, bring all forces in. Because I don't think I'm confident enough to take on 2 armies at the same time. Oh, you're actually direct leader. You do better leading the center. Okay. I'll take this flank then. And Chuzak can have the other. Now it just have to be in stand 2. But we can easily defeat him. That's how they come to assist us. I understand. Now invite him to come to my palace to spend some time with me. Alright, they're coming to Varkhuman. I guess I made the right choice. And he was happy to oblige me. Now I have some time to spend some with him. Have some time to spend with him. I'm confident I could convince him how like we are, that he stands to only gain from our friendship. Finally, we could talk in private, even though you'll meet in the battlefield together. It's surprising how often King Costa and I find ourselves debating theology during the visit. I suppose it was inevitable when two people of wildly different beliefs spent such a long period of time together. Sorry I couldn't offer you a more lavish welcome. All you need to do is just get Varkhuman and its holdings, then you win, and they be vassalized. We're coming in. Slowly but surely. Reinforcements have arrived. Yeah, I was thinking, what is my personal combat skill like? Anyways, we win this round. An hostile agent in Samarkand was able to feel discontent of the local populace against my rule. The stability in the province declines. We need to catch the bastard. Lose a bit of prestige. So now it's a restless province. Increased stability in crown focus. Use that. Get it back to normal. Yep, Dave came in. I understand your refusal, but one day you will understand. Especially when we fight against them. Zog liberation of Ara. You're fighting against the Avars. A weaker force. Alrighty. Good luck. Can't call you into this conflict. Because you're in the middle of one. No offense, or did that's the question. I already told you that. I already got unyielding. I can't have this. Or this. Just need to seek an area expertise. Particularly, maybe fight better in the plains. That's what I would like to have, since we live in a steppes area. Again, acquiring Varkhuman does not give me more domain. This is just to vassalize the little guy, and he may have a place in the council. Impregnated my concubine, which I bought her from the market, from the fair. 96. One more holding to go. And I have enough piety to start another war to fight against Kotal. Which they have not been engaged in all battle, but still. Got what we wanted. Just get a bit of prestige. And he will be my vassal. Like it or not. You will find a place on the council, which I'm going to make you my steward. Not as good as this Vandir, but you'll do. I'm sure you and I are going to get along together. And I'm going to make you the Pustigman Salah, appointed commander of the Royal Guard, and such commands a significant amount of respect. See, all is well. We're fellow Khurmazta. It'll take a while for some of the troops to recover. And then you're next. He can't call Varkhuman in because he's my vassal. He could call Chach in, but it's less. And also, I gotta figure out how to get this because that is a great artifact to have. Because the benefits it brings. And some respect around here. As I decided to place the crown focus on Samarkand, the whole council started to devise ways to improve the provincial stability. The efforts paid off now as the situation on the terrain improved markedly. Very well. Low stability. I think I should give you a stewardship education. It ain't gonna be me raising you. Somebody more skilled. Esfandir, the former steward. Have at it. After years of confusing warfare and shifting alliances, the Chinese Civil War is finally over. The foreign dynasty has fallen and China is once more ruled by a native Han emperor, Samsa Taizu, the former governor of Hangzhou. Defeated not just the loyalist armies, but several rival rebel factions. Things are slowly returning to normal in the Middle Kingdom, and the Silk Road is safe again. Good, I could use some new silk clothes. Unfortunately, the period of unrest continues, and it's still isolationist. Oh, hell. It's a war-torn, and now, there's a Peasant Revolt in Varkhuman. And we are too small to take them all on, as they are mainly light infantry, light cavalry, and archers. We don't have that kind of military. We can't call allies in. I mean, it'd be good to stop the revolt, but... Oh. If you were to lose this area, it'll be an independent entity, but would that mean these event spawn troops will keep? It's just a look. Skill-wise, he ain't that good. You forced my hand. Get the money from the Jewish merchants. Clergy won't like it that I'm borrowing money from them. But it's for this occasion. And we're gonna need mercenaries. And lots of them. Whoops. Take the time. We'll get up there in no time. A few days ago, I've noticed an intriguing woman at my court. Most of that time she sat quietly and did not draw any attention to herself. However, I could tell she was listening very intently to the conversation that nothing escaped her watchful eyes. Perhaps I could find a use for her talents. Well, I was looking for a good spy master. She's ugly, but she's shrewd, erudite, cheerful, perfect qualities I was looking for. You might be the one to help me to steal for that thing I'm looking for, which is a matter of luck at this point. So, I have a perfect job for you. Now owes me a favor. And I'm sure there's not a lot of happy people around. Wait till it reaches 60, then begin march, because you know it's a long way there. We'll be there this coming May. It takes 2 months. Varkhuman would fall by then. But at least they'll try to kill it off a bit. Son of a concubine. Freed Dune. That'll keep. Again, cheapest mercenaries I can buy. And I can't pay those Jewish merchants back. Once we're marching over the plains for one of my officers' mothers, once I'm back in Samarkand, I'm giving up this soldiering life, and maybe I will be a baker. I chuckle of considering my strategic aspirations. What about you, my lord? What would you focus on in the future? Well, it's a long way, so logistics and organization, my good man. I'll be an organizer, which the character's skillful organizer matters logistics and is overcoming the challenges of moving a large body of men from one point to another. Faster movement bonus, movement speed, and retreat. Get from one place to another faster in this big country. That'll put it down. Hey. Thought you may respect me more, but I guess not. Okay. Break it up. Keep an eye on this, because it's a rebellious province. And there's nothing I could do, because that's on you. If they rebel again, that's on you. Keep that well in mind. Vassal troops are any increase. I realized that to become a great fighter, I'll need to get into better shape. There's a great path in the nearby woods that would be excellent for running. Let's go running. Increase my efforts of becoming a warrior. In what way exactly? Violence seems to be able to solve all my problems. Life is easier when I could just simply smash things into submission. Seems I no longer have the patience to negotiate. Now I'm wrathful. That lowers my intrigue and diplomacy, which is doubly unfortunate. So I have appalling intrigue and appalling diplomacy. So this is what happens when you get below 5. Appalling intrigue. Low chance of arrest. Assassination chances reduced. Plot discovery chance reduced and plot power is increase. Heck, that makes me vulnerable for assassinations, in fact, if I can't discover something. And appalling diplomacy is just bad, if not worse, because that lowers general opinion. That makes me not popular in some people's eyes. But at least you'll stick with me, because whatever plot that comes up, we'll know. And we'll know who to stop. But I'll tell you who's not coming to Samarkand. Him. We'll have to use our numbers against him again. May potentially call my ally again, but not the Teflites. They're fighting against the Avars, and winning. So after this next war, we'll stop the episode here. Because I am confident enough that we can take it on. As we have to render troops more. But we'll have to call ally in. Do it. You're coming in. He's still having chest pains, I saw. Will likely decline. Because he's in the middle of a war. Be patient. way to the area anyway. Actually, hold that thought. The man should be the center of attention while keep the flanks. But take your time getting here. Our ally is coming. Won't be coming in with the highest of morale, but neither are they. We'll just use our numbers and commanding talent to deal with them. Things are going well when I suddenly hear an embarrassed toughen nearby. Spinning my short sword ready, I see the enemy commander awkwardly attempting to climb a dried up tree trunk. I think he's trying to escape the battle, my lord. The soldier next to me muses. There you are. I've been itching for a fight because I'm brave. My opponent looks nervous. Oh, his armor a little ill-fitting. I briefly contemplated would rather do this another day. Moments later, I snap out of it, letting the fresh morning air shower my senses instead. The stout man is on the ground, groaning in pain. He's just a commander, and not a good one at that, so I'll show no mercy instead. They will soon reason why they call me the Fearless. Everything is just in a war, thus increasing my duel experience and battlefield experience. Thank you. Begun. Now the sieges will begin, but this one's a bit rather precarious. That's why we called on Kashgar to come help to bolster the numbers of the siege. Warriors are deaf. Word has it that the enemies of Egypt have something new to fear. Warriors atop chariots equipped bow and arrow alongside fearsome spear troops. Some even whisper they don helmets in the shape of the old god, Anubis. Regardless of such claims, this new Kemetic holy order will pose a serious threat to all that oppose Kemetism. Worrisome. It's the Libyan Kemetics. That's what they were talking about. Yeah, we'll get friendly reinforcements. This is just to help us assist with the siege. Because we don't have the numbers to, like, especially when we get to Atashadaga area. So thus more is needed. And it's to get the siege done faster. Got this barony down, now let's get the fire temple. Sorry. %. In this war we fight has already cost many lives, and many more will die. Can I really say that I enjoy war? I'm a slightly more pious man than have an ego and prestige. I'll just say no. War is not a glorious thing to be celebrated about, but it's a necessity to ensure the survival of our nation. Of our city-state of Samarkand, which will no longer be a city-state, but is we're, about to hold more than one in the domain. Will you agree on strategy here? 100%. This land is mine. The Sogdian of Kotal is mine. Now it can be the Duchy of Sogdiana, but there's no reason for that because I'm not spending my money on it. And plus, when you proclaim Sogdiana, okay, it just says all baronies. It doesn't say anything. You have to be of this title. No, just hold the land. That's what it is. Oh, I accidentally sent the domain back home. But I wouldn't worry too much because we still have our martial training troops, which will just add up a bit more to levy reinforcement. I got 2 things to spend. That was premature of me. But at least we'll have a small break for war. We don't have enough piety to get Bukhara, which will happen in the next episode. I think what I should do is find a hobby. Just get a lifestyle trait or whatever. But I don't think that'll do, but... don't need to travel. Not yet. And I don't think a Great Council is going to happen. Maybe we should build a war chest since we're that close to make a lot of money, but... could extort, which I'll have a look. But you know, triple taxation in a land that is pretty volatile. You really want to do that. And you're going to need that party, so maybe it's a bad idea after all. But what you should do is to spend your money on castle walls. No, we don't have it. Damn! But I'll tell you what it needs. Barracks. So let's just pass the time slightly a bit. As I will say, it's been a pretty successful first episode so far for this little Sogdian mini-series. And what I will also say here is that our next move will obviously be, you know, get Bukhara, who is currently allied with Urusana, and that's their only ally. And you're on the offense, and you are asking me to take part? Anyways, who are you fighting exactly? Sabir. It's Varkhuman, this area. And how strong are they? Oh, dang. They could definitely put up a fight, so... perhaps we should intervene, but... I don't think they would like that. So I'll just say sure, but... I'm sure they'll probably call their other tributaries in since they called us. So they're probably going to call Kashgar, Urusana, Bukhara, Africa Duchy, and those down there too, of the Zunis. But so with that, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pretty good first episode so far. And I'm sure one day, in fact, that immediately in the next episode, I mean, we have the stewardship. Just once I take away the war focus, I gotta switch my focus towards business. Yeah, get into business, because martial is good. But we'll be in a resting period because the army is very low, at least in the domain, but we'll be reinforced shortly. Soon after. So I'm not committing my troops over there. You're on your own. And I hope you do well. And maybe we'll hold another Sogdian Fair within this year, if not the next. And we hope you people will join us for the next Sogdian Fair in the next episode of Sogdia, the mini-series here on When the World Stopped Making Sense, right here on the Lord Master channel. But until then, so long for now. and Salom for the viewers of Tajikistan and Sogdia.